making day again. Jonathan's doing an excellent job. It's a very good exercise program in case anybody ever thinks about a program they'd like to use to lose some weight.
Huh?
I said it's a good program to help you lose some weight too, huh? Grinding up some grains, huh? Step 1.
All done.
Okay, thank you. Jonathan has finished step 1, the initial grind. And as I've shown before, it's not quite as fine as I like it, so I'll put it back in and grind it one more time, and we'll get a nice, beautiful grind, and we'll make us some sourdough bread today. Well, it hasn't been too cold here in Texas the last couple of days and nights, so we haven't been running the wood-burning stove. It dropped down to 65 in the house, which is not cold. For you people up north, it's probably considered warm, but for me, it's just a little on the nippy side. So I'm going to start a little fire in the wood-burning stove. So I put my newspaper, my thrifty nickel, and I took it and I ripped the pages up and I wad them into balls, and I put a little layer of about 10-12 of them on the very bottom of the stove. And if you'll notice, there's about a ½ inch of ash on the bottom too. I leave that in there for a reason. And then I take little stick kindling and put that on top of the wadded up paper. And then on top of that, I take little pieces of kindling that Ronnie chops up when he's cutting up the wood to length for our stove. So all the leftovers, and he takes it and he chops that up for me. And we put it in a bucket, and then I have it for when I need it. And these are nice because they're smaller and they catch faster, okay? But they don't burn quite as fast as the twigs. So the twigs, you have the newspaper for the initial fire, the twigs to kind of catch the fire, then the smaller kindling to kind of keep the fire going, and then I put a small log on top. And then once the fire is really going good, then I'll go ahead and add some of the bigger logs that we have here next to the stove. So let me see if I can get a fire going here. I usually wad up or twist up a piece of paper here and get that going. So let me see if I can do that real quick. Okay, so I lit my little twisted up piece of paper and I warm up the top of my stove because it hasn't been burning the last day and a half or so, so it's going to be kind of cold, and I don't want to put a huge fire into my kind of cold stove here. So I'm going to heat the chimney just a little bit and get the inside just a little bit warmed up, and that's another reason I'm going to start a smaller fire too. That, and it's just not cold enough for a huge fire, but you get the idea, and you'll see how it goes through those jets in the top there. Okay, once it's a little warmed, then I can go ahead and start setting the fire in the back there. It's caught. Set it over to the side. Did I catch it on the other side too? I might not have. So we'll see how fast it catches some twigs over on the other side. finally caught that side too. And see how it's spreading up underneath. We'll start to close the stove. You see a little smoke will start coming up the top, out the front. So I'm gonna, not shutting the door all the way, making sure some oxygen is getting in there. Let's see if it's going to stay together. Sometimes, my top log is starting to tumble off there, so let me see if I can push it back into place. I'm going to use a poker, not my hand, of course. There we go. So we're getting a pretty good fire going in there now. It's not big, but it's enough to get it warming and start catching some wood. Okay, I'll check back in just a little bit and see if it's all caught good and start throwing on some bigger logs.